And in Leviticus 16, interestingly, we have here the Day of Atonement, a special day. It's not like the daily sacrifices. It's more than that. It's explicitly unique because of two things, I believe. First, because of its frequency. And second, because of the service itself. First, it's only done once a year, Yom Kippur or Yom Kippurim, Day of Atonement or Atonements. Just once a year in Jewish calendar. And then secondly, because of its service, not only the people will be cleansed, but the sanctuary itself will be cleansed. Remember the saints represented by the blood sprinkled there on the veil and all the furniture there inside the sanctuary. I can't blame you if you can't fully relate to this one, but actually you can review what I'm sharing this morning here in Leviticus 16. It says here in 32 and 34 in contemporary English version, the high priest must offer the sacrifices for cleansing from sin. It's only the high priest, the only person who can approach the Ark of the Covenant. And the Ark of the Covenant, you have there the mercy seat. And this is actually typology, type and antitype. The type is actually the model, okay, or the symbol, and the antitype is the original object or subject as symbolized by the symbol, of course, or the representation. For instance, lamb is the type and Jesus is the antitype. Alright. That's why when John saw Jesus there at the Jordan River, he said, "Behold the Lamb." He wasn't actually staring at the Lamb, he was looking at Jesus. But he was thinking along that line, typology. So Old Testament and New Testament, if you compare it, you actually entering into the world of typology. The analogy between the type and the antitype. And here we have the high priest approaching the mercy seat, the type of the antitype in heaven, which is the throne of God. It's only the high priest, and then once a year, who could actually approach the throne of God. And that's only every Yom Kippurim, Day of Atonement. And he will offer these sacrifices for the most holy place, okay, the sacred tent, the bronze altar, all priests, and for the whole community. In other words, during the Day of Atonement, everything and everyone will be cleansed. The people and the sanctuary itself and the most holy place, all the furniture there. And what does this mean? It means to them actually, whenever they offer sacrifices, daily sacrifices, they believe that their sins are forgiven. However, it's not forgotten because it's still there in the sanctuary. And once a year, they celebrate because God has not only forgiven their sins, but actually has forgotten them as well. That's why they celebrate. It's their biggest celebration, I believe, within their calendar, this Yom Kippurim. And you must celebrate this day each year. It is a great day of forgiveness. That's why they celebrate for all the sins of the people of Israel, including the high priest himself. Okay, I hope we have a slight picture of the Day of Atonement and the services there in the Old Testament. And they, just once a year, we're using two types of goats. Goat for the Lord and goat for the Azazel. The goat for the Lord actually will be killed, sacrificed. Okay. However, the goat for the Azazel, all the sins there in the sanctuary accumulated will be put on top of the head of that goat. Okay. Now that's actually a theological debate again, whether that Azazel is a type for Jesus Christ or a type for Satan. However, I won't deal with that matter this morning. Anyway, the services on the Day of Atonement is outward. Okay, unlike the daily sacrifices inward. Now it's outward. Their sins will be brought up. It's like all their rubbish All their garbage were there, and once a year it's gonna be picked up and will be placed on that goat for the Azazel. That's why they got that 2 goats, and after that, they're gonna let go of that goat for the Azazel, and that's a symbol that God has forgiven and forgotten their sins for the whole year. And they welcome the following day, the following year, with celebration, with a clean slate. And actually, the author of Hebrews was trying to draw from those typologies, from those object lessons in the Old Testament. He said, do you know what? Jesus is our high priest, and He had atoned for us. There was a day of atonement there in heaven. And what does that mean to the Jews? They should celebrate. And what should it mean to us? We should celebrate as well. Now, I'll just be reading this quickly. When Christ came as high priest of the good things that are already here, He went through the greater and more perfect tabernacle that is not man-made. That is to say, a part of this creation, better sanctuary in heaven. The original, the antitype. He did not enter by means of the blood of goats and calves, okay? Being remembered the services done in the Day of Atonement, using goats and calves, Day of Atonement. But He entered the most holy place once for all by His own blood, having obtained eternal redemption. The blood of goats and bulls and the ashes of heifer or young cow sprinkled on those who are ceremonially unclean sanctify them, so that they are outwardly clean. How much more then will, now this is the better sacrifice offered by the perfect high priest, blood of Christ, who through the eternal Spirit offered Himself unblemished to God, cleanse our consciences from our acts that leads to death, so that we may serve the living God. For this reason, Christ is the mediator. He is our high priest, perfect high priest. He doesn't need to sacrifice all over again. He did this once for all. And He became our mediator of a new covenant. And those who are called may receive the promised eternal inheritance. So for the Christian Jews, they could easily appreciate, understand the beauty of what the author was trying to impart to them. Now that He has died as a ransom to set them free from the sins committed under the first covenant. And if you read through the book of Hebrews, you will see there that there was a problem in the first covenant. There was a problem in the time, in the earthly sanctuary, with the sacrifices there, with the high priest himself. And what was that?